Beef stew is a super comforting meal. It's so easy to make in your pressure cooker. I'm gonna show you how to make this easy weeknight meal, and I'll give you some money-saving tips along the way. I found this beef stew meat on sale at the grocery store. I brought it home that day, put it in the freezer, and I pulled it out for today. So if you see these orange tags, it's a good way to stock up for when you'll need it later. I am making a little bit of a bigger batch today, so I've got about double the meat that I want and double the flour, salt, and pepper in here. I'm making this gluten-free today, so I'm using the King Arthur gluten-free measure flour. Go ahead and just toss all of your meat chunks with that flour and salt and pepper, and this is gonna help not only brown your meat, but when you add your broth later, it makes it a little bit thicker, like a richer gravy. The recipe also calls for sirloin that you've chunked up. I use beef stew meat. It's less expensive, especially when you get it with those orange tags. And the pressure cooker does make everything super tender. I have my pressure cooker set on sear, and that's going to help us get that nice brown finish. So I'm gonna do this in batches. Here's our oil and vinegar dispenser. I want about a tablespoon of oil, so I'm pushing these buttons to bring that oil up. Just add it to the top. You can use avocado oil if that's what you prefer. You're simply going to brown your cubes of meat until they are browned. They don't need to cook all the way through, but maybe about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And that will give you just that little bit of crust and caramelization on the outside that you're looking for. While the beef's cooking, we're gonna get everything else ready. We need 2 chopped onions. So I pulled it out of the freezer. I freeze my onions, see this is frozen solid, in a block that's kind of thin, so I was able to break it off and pull out what I think looks like 2 onions. And that's going to save me some time, and it saves you money because you don't have waste. And when onions go on sale, like buy one, get one free, that's when you can stock up. So you just chop them up with your electric twist and chop or a food chopper, and they are all prepped all at once. I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic. Fresh garlic is so good for you, and it's very inexpensive. So you're gonna take your garlic, put it right into your press, and press it straight through. So when you press it yourself, you're eating a whole food. You're not getting the kind that's processed in a jar. So if you're trying to eat healthier and eliminate the bad stuff, get whole foods and work with it from the very beginning, the way it looks like when it grew. That's always gonna save you, it's gonna save you money, and it's also gonna be better for your health as well. So I'm gonna go ahead, just press all the garlic. I am, as I said, making extra. So you would normally need just a couple of cloves, but I'm using 4 because I'm making extra today. Because I'm making a double, I need 3 cups of beef broth. I measured out 1 cup, and I'll use the rest in my batch. So what do I do with this? I freeze it. Are you surprised? So my bag is already labeled. This is a freezer bag. Just go ahead and pour it. I've got it labeled already that it's 1 cup. So the next time I'm making something that needs beef stock or beef broth, I'll just use it like this. Zip it almost all the way through and then push the air out. That's one of the secrets of making sure your freezer doesn't, you don't get freezer burn on your ingredients. Always use the thicker bags, and if you freeze it flat with the cup like this, it's going to be thin. So if you only need a little bit of broth, you can break it off. If you need the whole thing, it will thaw quickly because it's thin. I'm finished browning the beef. I want to show you what my pot looks like. These are stainless steel, and you see all of this? If you don't know any different, you think, oh my gosh, that's a mess, that's gonna be so hard to clean up. It's called fond, and it's super flavorful. So you don't wanna scrape it up before you add everything else. The onions will help pull it up, and the broth will too. So anytime you're cooking with stainless steel, that's one of the perks, to have that fond in the bottom of your pan to give extra flavor. While the onions are finishing up, we'll prepare the polenta that's going in the ceramic pot. I've got 3 cups of water in my tea kettle. You always want to cook your polenta like you would if you were making grits. So you want to add your polenta to hot water and stir in slowly. That way you don't get clumps. So this side dish is going to cook at the same time as your stew. And because I am making this for our family, as well as I'm gonna bring some to my son's family, and he eats gluten and dairy free. So before I add the butter and the Parmesan to the polenta, I'll pull some out for him. That way I don't have to make two completely different meals for us all to have a side dish. So I love it when you can make additions like that to a recipe so that everybody in the family can enjoy. All right, so take your silicone cover and put it over the top. So this ceramic pot is considered an accessory to the deluxe multi-cooker. I love using it for rice and potatoes and polenta. Let's set it right on that cradle. It'll make it easy to add to the top. Here are the onions. You can see that fond is coming up off the base. So all these dark specks you see in the onions are tons of flavor. I have some fresh thyme I'm going to add to the top. If you don't have fresh, you can use about half of the amount in dry that is called for. And then we'll go ahead and add the broth over the top. And here's a tip for you. Pour it with the spout on the top side, and it's a lot cleaner. It doesn't make a glug, glug, glug sound. Okay, now we're ready to put it all together. So I'm gonna add the beef right to the top of the broth. I'm gonna give it a little stir just to get everything coated. Remember, the flour that was on top of the coating the beef is going to help thicken up our stew. And now I'm gonna take this piece here. This is the stand. And I'm just gonna set it on top of the meat, and that will hold the ceramic pot. Set it over the top. Okay, we're ready to let it do its magic. Turn your dial till beef pork lights up, press the button in, reduce it to 20 minutes, and then you're going to press and hold. That's it. It's gonna take a few minutes for it to build pressure, and once this dial has filled completely, the pressure countdown will start. 20 minutes is what it will take. It'll take about 8 or 9 minutes to come to pressure first. When it's finished, we're gonna do a natural release for 10 minutes. That means I'm gonna let it be for 10 minutes after it's done cooking, and that'll finish the process. You wanna be careful about the steam escaping. And the top here has broth all over. So you wanna be really careful when you remove this so that you don't burn yourself. So I like to just tip it forward and have all that liquid go right over the top. Okay, I'm gonna set this down. Everything smells so good. I'm gonna go ahead and add peas and carrots. Whoops, almost forgot to take the little stand out. Take that out. There we go. Add the peas and carrots, and they will just cook just by the heat that's in here. You can turn it back on to sear if you want to. I'm just gonna let it sit for a little bit. Now let's get this polenta done. This is super hot. And I see some more liquid here. There we go. Oh, it smells so good. Okay. So just take a whisk and stir everything up. Some of the beef broth got mixed up in there. It's okay, it'll make it extra tasty. I'm gonna pull some of this out before I add the butter and the Parmesan. So if you have family members that can't do dairy or gluten, really, you can just pull some out so they can enjoy it. This does get thicker as it sits. I'm just gonna pull out a little bit. That way Nick can enjoy it too. Okay, now for the rest, I'm gonna go ahead and add the butter and Parmesan cheese. And you're just gonna stir until everything gets nice and combined. If you like grits, you'll love this because it's a similar texture. To serve it up, just add some of that polenta to your bowl, and then just take a nice ladle of the beef stew onto the bowl. Doesn't that look fantastic? We'll add a little more meat there, and there you have it. Beef stew with Parmesan polenta. I hope you'll give it a try.